on your deba underneath the rib bones down towards the belly, pressing up onto the bones so that you only remove bone and sinew and not any of the flesh. Now there's one last segment here where there are bones in this species that are within the bloodline, so we're going to swipe off the bloodline and the rest of these lateral bones, and we will now have two clean fillets. We'll have the top shoulder and we'll have the bottom belly fillet. So now here I'm switching knives to my unagi. It's very important that you lubricate the cutting edge of your unagi. And we do this by dipping the tip into water and then gently tapping the handle on the cutting board. The water traces the cutting edge of the unagi all the way to the foot of the knife and will drip off of the bottom. And here I skin it from tail to shoulder. This is a belly fillet. And between the skin and the flesh is this very delicate piece of silver skin. That silver skin is a very thin layer of fat, and that layer of fat is very important to the mouthfeel, to the overall experience, sashimi or nigiri with the sushi. And it also shows that our knives are sharp and we have a certain amount of chef pride in our butchery skills. Here, as we prepare the shoulder of the fillet for sashimi, any extra imperfections will be removed. There's 3 different types of cuts that we're going to go over here. The first one is the most traditional. This is a straight pull sashimi block cut. This is a cut you'll see on any big fish that will allow you to have a fillet of the right size in order to create this cut. This is a drawn or pulling slice, also for sashimi presentation. This longer drawn out slice gives more surface area, a lighter mouthfeel, a thinner texture. You have sliced open more of the individual proteins of this flesh, and so it will allow you to have a more flavorful bite. The final cut here we're doing is one that is usually for whitefish, for very thin halibut, for thin Thai snappers, for breams. We're going to slice that eye right in half, and we're going to scalp this fillet down into a lower profile. So when we go in to do a very paper thin slice, we have a little less surface area and we have a little tighter flesh that will allow us to create a thin, more perfect slice. Here I've taken those slices and shingled them on the cutting board and have rolled them into a rose, which is a traditional sushi preparation. Seeing the way the grain of the flesh is running will tell you where and how to cut, and you always want to cut against the grain. If you cut with the grain, the flesh will unfold and will ripple against your knife. If you're cutting against the grain, it has a surface tension that will withstand the entry of the blade and the cutting edge into the flesh, so it will create a perfect cut and not a mangled cut. Along the belly of the fillet, this segment closest to the stomach is the toro of the hiramasa, or the absolute pure and fattest part of the fillet. So here you can see I've left the entire fillet intact, including the bloodline. The bloodline is bright and red and shows that the fish is fresh and clean, and also left the silver skin in place so you can see that this is a belly slice and that there is an added layer of fat into the fish. We've left the bloodline on, which is traditional. There's no need to waste any of the fish, and the bloodline here is going to add to the flavor. It's going to add depth and texture, and it's important when you go out and are looking for fish for yourself that you see the bloodline and that you can see that it's bright and that it's red, that it has not been oxidized or discolored in any way. It's another way to be able to look at a fish and visually see how fresh the fish is.